Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at the latest news and discussions on the matter. Today we have an important observational analysis looking back at the party house footage, specifically Noah Presgrove and his shorts, because when doing a comparison of the different screenshots throughout the video, there is a change in shorts, but more importantly, there is a specific moment in which there are visible marks on Noah but in different areas. And I'm not sure if it correlates to the ATV incident, accident, or something else. And it might give a better idea of how things followed in the correct order of events. As I said, I don't know if other people have picked up on it. There might be one reference to the back, which was brought up online on Facebook, and even Stevie Howard referred to it, but I don't know where that is. It's kind of hard to find. But I'm just going to do my own analysis today, and you can share your thoughts down below in the comment section to let me know what you think, whether you agree, disagree, you got an alternative idea or theory. Be sure to let me know and I will respond back. And given if there is time later on, I can always look back at some previous comments and give some shout outs as well. So make sure to stick around. We're doing another hands-on analysis with photos of the party footage, sharing with you what I see. Does it compare to what you see? Of course, as always, if you see anything that I don't, you can always leave a comment, a thought down below with the timestamp attached, and I can always look back at it. Now, just one last thing. Welcome to those that are currently here watching this live premiere. Share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. And for anybody watching, you want to catch up on my previous videos, the video that I did earlier today, which was looking at a weapon, a possible murder weapon of opportunity, which could have been used in the death of Noah Presgrove, which just so happened to be caught on camera within the party footage. And it's around the same time frame or timestamp in the video, the area, the location, the event, the slapping thing in what we're looking at today. So it kind of links together in terms of where we left off from. But it's probably best advised you do catch that video up at a different point, because it's obviously a serious theme and topic to do with a possible murder weapon. And if you're wondering what that weapon is and where is it, maybe not many people have actually seen it because the clip is very short when you look at the original footage, but a still screenshot tells a different story. And there are other things of interest within that footage which tells a different story. And that's what I'm going to do bit by bit through the days as time goes on. I'm looking at each area and focusing in now, locking in. So yeah, eye symbol just there, top right corner of the screen. If you click on that, you'll find a playlist of all my videos if you want to catch up on them, and also the video that I did earlier today. You don't want to miss it. And there'll also be a link to the video last night, which was just as important, if not maybe a little more, because it was modern footage up close at the property with activity going on, either early hours of the morning or getting into the evening, which bit questionable. Hazmat suit, the hell's going on? Well, you'll find out if you click on it. One last thing, even though I keep saying that, down below in the comment section, pinned, you'll find some additional links if you want to support this channel. Shout out to people recently for supporting the channel, the super chats, super stickers, or gifted memberships. I believe last night, for example, Skeptical, shout out to her, it was very good, and some other people as well. Without further ado, we're going to get straight into it now and begin looking at the first screenshot of the party. The first screenshot is actually from the beginning of the party house footage compilation, and some of you will be familiar by. Now, as for that circle highlighting the face, that was just basically saying that's Noah Presgrove. And I think most of us can confirm that anyway, just by looking at his face. But nevertheless, that's what Noah Presgrove looked like at the party at a certain time. Was this taken Saturday, Sunday, Monday, early morning? Probably Sunday, getting into the night, maybe approaching Monday. If anyone wants to add specific timestamps down below, you're welcome to do so. That could be very helpful. But the main focus here is looking at the pattern of clothing. Is there anything that remains consistent and what changes? Now, the topic being the shorts, considering where he was found on the side of the highway, by certain perspectives, he wasn't wearing shorts. They were actually folded nearby, but they were of a different colour, white. But when the likes of Cade and Pressy saw Noah earlier on, before authorities got down there, etc., and the first witness to have reported it in, Cade and Pressy, when he was down there, noticed that Noah was wearing black shorts. So it's kind of on and off. Was Noah wearing shorts? Yes or no? And from the looks of it, he was up to a certain point, even after death. And then a form of foul play, tampering with evidence, seems to be the case, possibly. But what about before the passing away, leading up to the death? What was the order of shorts? First of all, here, he's wearing black shorts. That's what we've heard quite often, right? But then, if we move on a bit, and I don't know if it'll be the next slide or not, it is, then we move to this scene where it shows Noah, I don't know if that's outside or inside, slightly hunched over, showing his rear, his shorts pulled down to an extent, exposing his bottom, hence why it's blurred out. I don't know who the girl is on the left, but the one on the right with that cowboy hat, I believe is Avery Combs, the birthday girl. I could make that out because when she leaned over a little bit more, I saw that little nose ring thing piercing in between her nose in the middle, so it gave it away, that. But can you see the difference from wearing black shorts to wearing, what would that be, beige, cream coloured, not white? So if we think of the total infantry, if this is in between Sunday and Monday, getting through 3 pairs of shorts, is that normal? Maybe you get the odd one dirtied, messy, you got to change, but why 3 times? Well, it just so happened that the 3rd time wasn't by Noah himself. It was after his death and after being placed on the highway, after 5:15, after Cade and Pressy being ordered to leave the highway and to return back to the house, when supposedly a police guy removed the black shorts of Noah and then replaced them with white shorts, supposedly, but folded them nearby. It doesn't make sense, that. It's a little bit weird, right? But if we was to cut it down in terms of when Noah was alive, going from black shorts to beige shorts, but that wouldn't be the correct order, right? Because Cade and Pressy said when he got to the highway after 5:15, he saw Noah wearing black shorts. So was Noah wearing beige shorts on the Saturday, Sunday, and then changed to the black shorts? But if it was to do with the black shorts, then had the ATV incident in which he had to change his clothes and have a wash, then what coloured shorts did he put on next? The only other exception would be if he had multiple pairs of black shorts. Same colour, just a different pair, a fresh pair, maybe. But I'm just pointing it out to you as observations. These screenshots from the party footage is just in the order the video played. I don't know if the actual footage has been pieced together in the correct order as a compilation, or it's a bit mismatched. But yeah, we saw that first where they were singing, dancing. There's Noah, black shorts. Then, when he's been written on his back, beige shorts. Now, in fairness, and maybe I didn't acknowledge it before, but I will now, I believe that when Noah had the marker pen, the stuff written on him, with the exception of a tattoo, he washed it off. Now that sounds like on a Saturday, after an argument at the party with his friend Jack, left, drove back home, washed himself down, washed the marker pen off. Am I correct in saying that? That this footage, what we see here, was on a Saturday, then came the Sunday where he was wearing black shorts? That would make sense. But correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to do so down below. I just remember it being mentioned that he washed himself off the markers, right? Unless they're saying that this is what occurred at the shower at the house party after the ATV incident. Maybe. It's either one or the other. This is Saturday when Noah got back after this and washed himself off the marker, or on the Sunday possibly going into the evening, night time of having a shower at the party house. If anyone can clarify, that would be appreciated. But to wear beige shorts before or after the black shorts being worn, let me know. Now, this is where it gets interesting, of course, because this is the part where the slapping begins, right? And there was 2 lots of slapping where the person in pink called Shandy or something. I don't know how to say the name. Apologies about it. Shandy is where the people in the background said, "Whoa, damn. Damn, man. Thank you, ma'am." Something like that. And Shandy slapped Noah. Now, who is Noah in this shot? It's the person in the back. I don't know if I can zoom in. See that guy there? That's Noah Presgrove. He does have some kind of sunglasses on the back, which are kind of like over his cap. Now, where did those sunglasses end up? You know, they weren't on Noah's body at the time when he was found at the highway. So where did his glasses end up? Were they just left back at the house? I mean, in this footage, when Noah gets slapped by Shandy, the glasses do fall off. I don't know if he does pick them up, because later when we see the other footage of Noah being slapped by Brylan Sweat, he hasn't got those glasses, right? So it's just like doing a bit of like an infantry check. Now, who's the person on the right? I could be wrong. Is it Jack Newton in the blue shorts of some sort? Jack Newton or Brylan Sweat? You know, at times, from a distance, you'll look the bloody same, right? With the exception of hair colour. So, yeah, Brylan Sweat or Jack Newton. I'm thinking it's Jack Newton, just on the right. But the most important thing here is the fact that Noah is seen wearing beige shorts once again. So it wasn't just a one-off. It wasn't just in one clip. It's in a couple. So, yeah, beige shorts there. Beige shorts there when he gets slapped outside, but black shorts there. So in what order exactly? Was there any other additional details? Well, in this one, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of obscure, that bloody red marker, but just underneath it, there is that necklace, I believe. You can just see about the shimmer of it by the side, going around his neck. That necklace in which a chain or 3 pieces of chain of it were found near to Noah's body on the side of the highway. So where was the rest of the chain? Or was it the whole necklace thing, but just broken up? And why would it only be broken up by the side of the highway and not before elsewhere if he was being beaten elsewhere? Some people say that maybe the chain broke because someone grabbed it off of him, but they didn't take it away, so that's pointless. Or did they use the necklace to drag the body along and then dump it? And whilst being dragged along instead of carried, that's what caused the road rash. You get what I'm saying? You know, if you're going to dump somebody, you might do it fast, efficient. You might not be strong enough with dead body weight. You might not have much respect to the body, to the person that you just killed. So you're just going to dump them as easy as possible without having to carry. Maybe a quick drag, a roll, who knows? I mean, like with Noah's body being found on the left-hand side of the highway, which would be oncoming traffic, and people coming from the party house and driving north, they would be on the right-hand side. So did they cross over lanes? Did they pull up by the side on the right and then drag the body across the road to the left? Who knows? But could that have caused a bit of the road rash? Let me know. The key thing is in this footage at least, and maybe it's not exactly clear to tell, you look at his knuckles, they don't exactly look damaged, do they? You don't see any grazes or scrapes. And then as for his other hand up there, it looks to be intact, no damage sustained here. So I could argue and say this bit of clip from the party may have been before the ATV incident. As for this one though, it's kind of hard to tell, right? But beige shorts. That one, As for his hands, they don't exactly look red or raw. They don't look damaged or injured from the looks of it, not scraped. Now we move on to this one here, where he's wearing black shorts. And, you know, did this happen before this with wearing beige ones? Does this link in the correct order as that one? I'm not too sure. But one thing that's remained consistent, I believe, is the cap. So that cap, what you see there, the white one, appears to be the same one what you see here. So that didn't change. The necklace as well, it's very hard to see, but I can see a little shimmer reflection. He's still wearing the necklace. It looks like he always wore the necklace when he was at the party, or at least in the footage documented. And even where his body was found, he still had the necklace near to him, in possession of it. So that's kind of interesting, right? Considering how other things may have been moved, adjusted, or taken away. Now on the right is Brylan Sweats with his blue jeans and floral pattern top. In the background, if I can zoom in, you've got Avery Combs, the birthday girl with that little birthday banner around her. And then behind Avery is Isaac, the guy with the rifle. Okay. Now, as for audio and that could be a separate video at a later point. But I just wanted to point everything out as to who is who, at least from what I'm aware of, and what they were wearing. So based off that, Brylan Sweat on the right, I would conclude that the guy here on the right next to Noah is most likely Jack Newton, because Jack does have a bit of a pointy nose and I think maybe curly hair possibly. Can't fully remember. And he's got his cap. See, this is the important thing. Whilst we're looking at Noah today, just take in mind that in the shot in the frame here, Jack Newton is wearing his cap, his hat, the one which he said he couldn't find because it was messed with when Monday morning came about at around 5:53 in the morning, when Jack texted his dad about the fishing trip and, we'll go and stuff. And can you bring me another hat because I can't find mine? Not that he said he can't find his, he said it's been messed with. In what way? Did someone steal it? Someone play a prank, hide it maybe? Or was the hat lost when at the scene of Noah's body before 5:15 in the morning? Who knows? I mean, like when Caden Pressey said he witnessed Jack come back to the party house and alert people as to Noah's death, I wonder if in that moment was Jack wearing his was Jack wearing his baseball cap? Yes or no? Unfortunately, Caden didn't recall or bring that up. But it would have been interesting, because if Jack didn't have his hat when he made it back to the house, where did it end up? Sounds a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? So yeah, there's Jack. Now, to refer back to here, the reason why the arrow is pointing at Noah Presgrove's rear end is for a good reason. We are going to zoom in right now, just as a disclaimer. This is not dodgy. This is being serious and realistic, because I've noticed something which maybe other people haven't pointed out, and it could give a direction, an order as to how things followed out. Possibly, not guaranteed, because there are additional factors to counter, but let's just do it right now. The reason why I'm zooming into his rear is because on the back, it looks patchy, his shorts, right? Dusty, dirty, muddy, more so dirt. Now, at the time, temperature, I'm guessing, was fairly warm, humidity pretty bad. And if you're rolling around in dirt for whatever reason, or such as in this case, supposedly, that the ATV tipped over which Noah was operating, could have got dirtied, dusty, needed to clean up, wash up. Would that have been a form of sobering up as well? Because that's the other thing. Well, as we were saying, how Noah Presgrove drunk and, they tested his alcohol levels after and he was over the limit. If Noah was to have a successful wash, would it have been a cold shower or a hot, warm shower? If it was cold, would he have sobered up a little more? If he did, he may have not been as vulnerable as he was earlier on in the party footage, right? But nevertheless, when looking at the shorts on screen where the arrow is pointing, you can see it looks a little bit patchy. Now granted, the closer you get to looking at the rear, it might be a bit blurry. Sometimes when you see something from afar, it can be a bit clearer. I'm not saying that when looking up close it doesn't exist, but from afar it does. No, there is definitely something there. They're not exactly clean. Now, okay, sure, if you're at a party, you might get a bit messy. You could get a little bit wet. You know, if it's raining outside or if it's warm inside, you start sweating, or you might spill a drink or spill water or alcohol on you. I mean, we looked at Jasmine Milan. You remember the 3:41 a.m. Snapchat post by Jasmine Monday morning after Noah supposedly left the property. Well, Jasmine Milan seemed to have wet hair and a bit of wetness on her top, where maybe her hair brushed against the top, possibly. Not 100% guaranteed, but as an observation, it does look wet. And if Jasmine had wet hair and Noah had a shower, a wash, was Jasmine there to witness or to participate in washing Noah? Who knows? And you could say, well, are they together? Not exactly. But you look back at in the past with the TikTok footage archived, re-uploaded by the mother, Renee Milan, edited by the sister of Jasmine called Jade Milan. Seems to be a bit of a family day out in terms of passing around content of Noah Presgrove and Jasmine Milan kissing one another in an intimate way in the past, during the party, or before, a long time ago. I'm not too sure as to when it exactly happened, but it did, and there is proof. And there was even a photo as well, which was reposted onto Reddit, the deep dive one, shout out to them, in which Jasmine Milan had a tattoo, I believe, on her wrist, maybe of a heart with Noah's name inside of it. What's going on there? So if that happened in the past, but they do have history, and if Noah was to get into that ATV incident, accident, tip over, get dirty, needs washing, cleaning, maybe Jasmine would be happy to help clean him because they've been close before in the past, right? That could explain why Jasmine's hair was wet. But whilst we can, give ideas here and there, we need to focus in the main picture, the center of the screen, the patchiness, the dirt, the dust. Could that simply be caused by sitting down on the ground? Yeah, I guess so. You can pick up dirt and dust that way, and you can brush yourself off, pat yourself on the bottom, and it goes mostly. But we don't know the true condition what Noah Presgrove was in. I'm not talking about injuries from the ATV tipping over, but how dirty was he really in need to have a shower? Completely covered, caked in mud? No, because it's dry. Completely covered in dust, dirt and grainy stuff, and it feels all uncomfortable? Maybe. Was there any dirt in his mouth he had to spit out? I'm not sure. Something tells me I've heard that reference before online, but I don't know if that's to do with the ATV part or afterwards. And I've not seen it 100% proven, but it's been talked about. Now, moving on to the next slide, where he's turned around a bit more, you should be able to make it out a bit clearer. Can you see that patchiness on his bottom? It's a lighter colour. It stands out compared to his black shorts. Now, the reason why this is important is, let's just say that this was possibly just after the ATV tipping over, right? And you see his shorts, right? And he's got all dirty, needs a shower. But before that, he decides to, confront Brylan Sweat and mess about, and then Brylan slaps him. Is that the correct order? You could interpret that way based off the dirty shorts. And if Noah got dirty from the ATV incident, well, this could be the after photo. That's just a suggestion, right? How else would you get dirty shorts? By sitting down, by rolling or falling over? Maybe that's always a possibility. You could apply that here. But I'm just basing it off possibilities of what we see here and an event that supposedly happened and the order it could have followed in. And that's why I've explained it the way I've done, right? So from a distance, you can see the dirtiness of the shorts. Dirty enough to warrant a shower? Maybe not. Dirty enough to switch coloured shorts? Maybe. But what coloured shorts would he transition into? Would it be beige? I mean, when I first started off in this case, trying to look about and absorb it all, I remember a reference online on Facebook, probably reposted a text conversation, a DM with Jack Newton talking to somebody, and Jack Newton bringing it up about beige shorts. And then I heard about white shorts. Then I heard about black shorts. And I thought, how many are we getting into? How many different coloured shorts are we getting? Are we going to complete the full Power Rangers squad? Where's the green shorts? Where's the gold shorts? I wonder. Oh, the blue one, don't worry. Jack's wearing them. But in all seriousness, right? Do you get where I'm coming from? In terms of the clothing, how it changes from scene to scene? Is there a particular order to it? If Jack was truly referring to the beige shorts, where was he referencing them? Well, at one point it sounded like it was referenced at the scene of where Noah's body was found along the highway. But of course, that doesn't seem to be the case because Caden Pressey said something completely different from what he actually witnessed, that they were black shorts, not beige. But what Jack said about Noah wearing beige shorts, or just beige shorts being present around Noah before or afterwards, it's somewhat true what Jack says, because in this footage he's clearly wearing beige shorts. Are they exactly white? No, they do look beige. Is there any footage of Noah wearing the white shorts? Not from what I've seen. So where did they come from then? How did the police get a hold of them then, supposedly based off that hidden recorded footage after 5:15 a.m. Monday, and after Caden was told to walk away from the scene with his group of guys from the party? Right? Where did those white shorts come from? Who passed them on to the police? How did the police get a hold of them in the first place? How many shorts did Noah Presgrove take with him to the party starting Saturday, going through to Sunday, and then Monday? And in what order exactly did he wear them? Black, beige, black, beige, black, black. But, if he did have a shower, after the beige shorts, if he did have a shower, and if that links to it, because they were dirty and maybe his body was a bit as well, felt a bit unclean, what coloured shorts was he transitioning to then? Another pair of black shorts? I mean, when he came on down to the party, did he take a bag with him, a backpack? I mean, how would he have carried his extra pair of shorts? Did he keep them there at the party when he came and left? Did he bring them down on Saturday, and then when he was leaving, because of that argument, he took the shorts with him? I'm sure they wouldn't have had random pairs of Noah shorts in the party house to begin with, because Noah doesn't live here. And as for other people's shorts, I don't think you'd be borrowing anyone else's, right? So let me know your thoughts on this. I mean, did you want to do a bit of a hands-on analysis of some sort? Maybe we could, or at least try to. If we just zoom in. No guarantee though. Where you increase the brightness. Can you see that? The patchiness. It does look more dusty. I'll be honest with you, it does look more dusty. But granted, at the same time, even if this wasn't just after the ATV incident, and maybe this was before it, how much different would Noah have looked after tipping over? Like how he does here, or worse? Would it have been obvious that he was dirty? I mean, if the ground was wet and really muddy, you could go from looking white to looking black, okay? And before people get triggered by that reference, there's no reference. It's a fact. If you're white and you fall into mud, a muddy field, all that darkness, mud, brown, depending the bloody colour and shade, you're going to look like a complete mess. You're going to look like a complete different person. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You might smell. You need a wash. But when it comes to dirt and dust, it's not as visible. Not from a distance. Up close, you might get a shade of it here and there. And if the body is sweating or a bit wet and the humidity, it can stick to you. So by brushing it off, that doesn't do the job. You need to wash it off. And I understand that. So maybe it wouldn't look that different. So, you know, if we do that, the interesting thing is when we do that, whilst it makes the shorts extra dark, it does make the patch still present, and you can see the surface area where it covers it, right? There's a fair bit. Now, apologies if people are joining in late and wondering why we're looking up close at Noah Presgrove's rear end. We're specifically looking at his shorts, the condition they're in. They're not damaged, they're not ripped, but they do look dirty. If you wonder what that white thing is sticking out to the side, that is a can, which was in his, like pocket. Now, did he have one in another pocket? Well, we'll get to that shortly. Welcome to anyone else that is watching right now. Be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box. Look at that, there we go. Can you see that? The shade of it. That's not lighting, that's just because of you can say it's because of the lighting, yeah, but natural as it stands, you can make out the outline of the mess. Look at that. Now, whilst the colour has changed, you can see there's quite a bit of surface area on the rear, meaning either he would have had to have simply sat down or fallen down on his bottom for the dirt to make contact, the ground to make contact with his shorts. If an ATV was to flip over and you're inside it, was Noah flung out of the vehicle and then he rolled across the ground? And if he did, yeah, his shorts back end would have made contact with the ground and collected with dirt. If he was still in the vehicle though with a seatbelt on, I don't know if there was a seatbelt or not on Noah at the time, but if there was, yeah, it could still get dirt on you around your face, chest and arms, but not really on your shorts if you're still in the seat of the vehicle. You won't be making contact with the ground. Brightness, that's kind of irrelevant to be honest. Just do that. Nearly done. Right, there we go. And that one's not really worth it. Sharpness. Oh yeah. You can really make it out now. The shaping of it. That's why I do this, because there you go. Make the shorts as black as possible where the interruption, the additional substance, additional layers of potential dirt stands out more now on both cheeks. Noise reduction, that just makes it blurry. And vignette, we don't really need that. Be sure to let me know what you think about this. There you go. Now, does it make the body stand out as for any dirt? Not really. The lighting will be from above on that overhanging roof. Is he sweating? Hard to tell with the lighting, of course. Any additional dirt anywhere else? I don't know. I mean, even looking at the foot, or at least one of the foots, whilst Brylan may be wearing shoes or socks, Noah is barefoot. Is his feet dirty, dusty? Hard to tell, you can't look at the sole or underneath the foot. Would Noah have been wearing shoes at the time of when driving that ATV? I don't know. But you know what's interesting is the fact that he's not wearing any shoes in this clip. Now, as for the other clips, or the other screenshots which I've got of from the party footage, I couldn't tell whether he was wearing shoes or not because most of the camera work was upper body, upper torso, right? But in terms of the description, where his body was found after the death of Noah along the highway on the side, he was wearing shoes, mismatched ones, one of which was Caden Pressey's, a Hey Dude branded shoe, and the other one being, I guess, Noah's own shoe, an Adidas. Both had grass within the shoelace and a bit of debris in each shoelace. So why is that? From the ATV accident back at the party house, round the back of the house where it might be a bit more grassy, when flipping over, shoes dragging along the ground. But then again, here in this footage, he's not wearing any shoes. Did he take them off? Or could this be before the ATV tipped over? I feel it was after, just because of the dirty shorts. Could be wrong, but just a suggestion. So, if Noah wasn't wearing shoes for most of the time when he was at the party, let's just say it like that, it got warm, took the shoes off, The next time he may have put his shoes back on is when he wanted to leave. Now, did he put on the wrong shoes, a mismatching pair, because he couldn't find his other Adidas shoe? Or is it because he was just drunk and he wasn't quite there with it? Or was it because he was in a hurry? He didn't care what footwear he put on, he needed to get away and wasn't quite thinking clearly, possibly. You know, for him to supposedly leave the place, even though before that asking for lifts back home around 3 a.m. and maybe just a bit before, such as asking Caden Pressey, asking Carter Combs, and it being turned down for different reasons. At least Caden Pressey gave his reason, because he was drinking, or he was drinking earlier on, and, you know, driving, didn't want to get in trouble with the law, didn't want to put anyone's life at risk. That's understandable, that's responsible. As for Carter Combs, no reason given, or not from what I've heard of. I've not heard a reason. As for anybody else, I don't know who else Noah approached or asked. Other people online say he approached many people. But who are those people? Who are those named individuals? What about the person or group that actually picked Noah up from where Noah was living, which is 42 miles north, which is at Duncan, I believe. People living there, going down to the party, or people going up there to pick up Noah, I wonder. And then going down to the party all together. So they may have left in that same direction, but at the time when Noah was asking to be dropped off, did he ask those same people? I don't know. And who were those named individuals? No names given. So there are still many questions and have just not been cleared up. It's very, very unfortunate. Of course, it's important to focus on the likes of Jack Newton, Caleb Newton, Stevie Howard, Sarah Long, Jasmine Millan, Jade Millan, Stephanie Millan, supposedly there at the party too, and other bits and bobs along the way. But there'll be other named individuals which we may have never heard before, or they've not come up into the picture much. And one of them, or a few, could have been those who were approached by Noah but turned him down in the offer of taking him back. Very unfortunate, right? So yeah, all kinds of things to acknowledge and put into perspective. But yeah, the act of putting on mismatched shoes, would you notice the difference in the fitting, in the size? Of course, but I don't know what size shoe Noah is compared to Caden Pressey. Are they the same size shoe or not? And even if they were the same size, doesn't mean to say that the shoes are going to fit the exact same. Some shoes are tighter than others are a bit looser. Some might have a higher insole where, you know, you might a bit higher up off the ground possibly because of the heel. Different perspectives, of course. So it could have felt a bit uncomfortable. Mismatching shoes and obvious in how they look, obvious how they feel. But despite discomfort, if Noah wanted to get away, or if Noah needed to get away, even if it meant walking back, despite asking people for a lift, that failed. Well, the only thing left he can do is just leave by himself and walk. It's the worst thing to do. It's not practical, but there seems like a bit of desperation for Noah to leave, right? And not just hang around. And to be wearing the wrong shoes. Even though we don't see him here in the shot, he put them on at some point, right? Interesting. Now, moving on, whilst yes, you do have Isaac in the background here holding that rifle, it's actually Noah Presgrove's upper back, the back on his body. So that would be around the left shoulder blade. I don't know if you can see it yourself, but there appears to be some kind of marking on his shoulder blade. Now, could you jump to conclusion and say, oh, that's a Sharpie marker pen? Or is it something else? If so, what would have caused it? Let me zoom in. Can you see that? Of course, the more I zoom in, the blurrier it gets and it's harder to tell. Does it look like a drawing? Not really. Does it look like writing? Not really. Could it be a signature by somebody if they were messing about? Maybe. But I don't see any of the markings on Noah, right? So I would rule this out. I would debunk it that if anyone was to suggest it was a marker pen, I would say Probably incorrect because of the time stamp, or at least the timeline of where the footage played out within over the days. But more importantly, the fact that when you look at Noah's body, even though it's a bit enhanced this, can you see any markers on him? No. Can you see any markers on him in that earlier footage? Well, kind of, but it's his lower body, his kind of like approaching his back area over his bottom, right? And yes, it's censored, but you can make out a bit of marking. But the thinness of it, does that marker pen, the colour of it, the font, the thickness or the lack of it, does it match up with what you see here? Is it a scribble, a doodle? I'd still say probably not, because I don't see any of the markings on his body, and that's possibly because he washed it off maybe Saturday when he left the party. Now, if on the occasion that this was at the party where he washed, that would have been probably the shower, coinciding with what happened before the ATV accident, which would mean after the shower, washing the markings off, but one still remaining. But it was said he washed it all off. So I'm still going along the lines of this is not a marker pen, that the actual markers were washed off a day or two before that. So this is still possibly online, on course with the ATV. Now, I'm just trying to think. Stevie Howard made a reference to this, but I don't think I don't think everyone was too pleased with what she had to say or didn't believe in what she said. And honestly, I can't remember what it was really about. I'm not sure if Stevie Howard was saying, you see that marking on his shoulder blade? Well, that's to do with the ATV when it flipped over. It's a graze. It's like a form of road rash or something. I don't know personally, right? But could it be some kind of graze or scrape? There's a small chance. The fact that Noah has dirty shorts in this shot, and he also has a marking on his shoulder blade, that's kind of interesting. Now, of course, we saw that other footage of Noah with the grazed knuckles, but he's wearing a different pair of shorts though. That's what makes it a little bit confusing. Now, we can always edit this photo whilst we're here, if it makes it easier for people. Get into shot about there. Can we make it any clearer? There you go. So it's like a black mark. It's not red. And sometimes when you get friction, when you get an injury, when you get a scrape or a graze, or the surface level skin has been rubbed away, or even like a carpet burn, maybe road rash. I'm not too much of an expert on that, how it appears, but often it can look a bit red. It could look a bit raw. It could look a bit irritated. If you have some kind of bad reaction to something, your skin can go a bit blotchy, a bit patchy, maybe red. In this case, it's more of a blackish mark. Why would it be a blackish mark? Like burnt skin? Contact with a black surface? Contact with a wheel, maybe? I'm just trying to think. Because there are some times where there's friction made with the ground, possibly, where your skin or the surface level of your body can go a bit black, whether that be because of debris and dirt as well, because that could be dirt, you never know. So is it a graze and a scrape from the ATV incident accident, or is it like dirt that's collected on his body, like how it has on his shorts lower down? Let me know what you think about it. Now, granted, this is an exception because it has been mentioned on Facebook, but I don't know if it came to much of a conclusion. It was just more discussions. But I wanted to look at it for myself. I wanted to provide it to you because not everyone would have seen it, of course. I just try and enhance the image to make it clearer, and boom, there we go. So if we do that, even if we have it on that setting, whilst everything is pale, you can still clearly see that there is like some kind of overlapping additional layer, or maybe the removal of a layer of skin, depending how you look at it. There is clearly still visibly a black mark of some sort, a skid mark, maybe. Now if we do that, boom, there we go. Look how dark that is. That really does stand out. That does look less of a marker pen because of the thickness of it, the width of the mark. Sharpies and pens like that aren't that thick, wouldn't cause something like that unless you scribbled over it multiple times. I just don't think that's the case. So it must be caused by something else. Does it resemble a mark if contact was made with a surface or an object? Can't really tell, to be honest. There looks to be a bit of a hook or a curve, almost like a fish hook. Now, when we used the term fish hook, that was referenced within the case, but I don't know if that was a reference to do with the injuries Noah sustained and when the autopsy was done, or before that. I do remember it mentioned by someone within the case on Facebook, maybe in a text message. There is a lot to try and remember. Just let me know if you remember that. Something about a fish hook. Noah was fish hooked. Now, at the time, during my live premiere, when we were trying to work out what does fish hooked mean, I searched it online in the background, checked the definition. It's basically where a person is getting drilled or screwed from the back as someone reaches around and puts their finger in the person's mouth by the side and kind of tugs on them like a fish with bait. A fish is swimming along, comes across the bait, and then literally fish hooked by the fisherman. But in this case, if it was applied to Noah, fish hooked, well, Noah would be receiving it. And as for the SA, that was all ruled out from the looks of it. But fish hook can maybe have different meanings. It might not be a form of slang, dodgy slang. It could be a means of how it actually looks like an actual fish hook. And does that look like a fish hook? Yeah, it does in a way, from a certain angle. Now, I don't know if I can rotate the screen, but if you tilt your head a little bit, that does look like a fish hook, or part of it. I don't know if that's the reference that was being mentioned in those text messages, but it stands out to me, the way I see it. What else do I have? Even when we do that, you can clearly see that black mark is a lot darker than Noah's skin. So that is interesting, that, for sure. Saturation. Actually, saturation, can we lower that? Yeah, look at that. Even grey. Okay, we're nearly there. Just to get the best image. Yeah, when you do it really grainy, it makes it more defined. That doesn't look too good. Is that an injury sustained from the ATV? Or something completely different? Is it a laceration? Could it be a graze, a scrape? But why that colour then? Must be a reason. So that looks a lot more clearer now, doesn't it? This is what I can do, and just the phone that I use, everything that I do is on mobile, and with the editing tools you can make something really stand out, right? There you go. Let me know what you think. Looks a bit weird, doesn't it? We don't see any other markings on his body, do we? So not from what I'm aware of. I don't know what that red thing is. The hell's that? Oh, it's because, yeah. It's just in the background. That's Avery Combs' birthday banner. I remember that. Yeah, there we go. I've got the little arrow there in case you didn't see it. Now, this clip here, how relevant is it? Where did it happen within the party? So this was a standalone photo on Daily Mail. Uh-oh. And, you know, he's wearing his chain. That's consistent. Oh, shit. Not there. Sorry. There. I mean, what is that? Not the nipple, but what's above it? Is that whipped cream? I guess so. Whipped cream, like an initial. But behind it, I can see a bit of redness, patchiness. Anything of significance? Maybe not, if it's warm. Does he look drunk? I mean, maybe. The cap, what he's wearing there, is probably the same one what he was wearing in the other clips, what we saw. Give me a second. That one there, white cap, yeah. And even that one there. All seems to be the same one. So that remains consistent throughout. That's the one thing that he doesn't change besides his shorts. Okay? The other thing that remains consistent is that necklace or chain. Is a necklace a female thing and a chain is a male? Or is it the same thing? I don't know. But that chain, what you see there, is what was also found, or pieces of it, along the side of the highway by Noah's body. Now, if they're saying only pieces of the chain, where did the rest end up? Where? Is that another piece missing or part of it? Could the rest of the chain be found at where maybe Noah was possibly murdered? I wonder. Now, any other significance? Well, in the background, who are those two people? There appears to be a female and possibly a guy. I don't know who they are. Do you? Let me know. On the right hand side, you got two girls there, both kind of in pink. You got Shady, the blonde-haired person that slapped Noah, so we know her by now. And then behind with the birthday banner, once again, would be or should be Avery Combs, the birthday girl. So that's two on the side. The two people in the back, I'm not too sure who they are. If you can mention their names or initials down below. Those two, that'd be appreciated. Looks to be a guy and a female. The guy on the left looks to be of a darker skin colour, so could that be the reference to Mike Tyson, the nickname given by Brylan Sweat, I think? Maybe. But focusing on Noah, of course, right? What stands out to you first? Well, to me, was his knuckles. Okay, I don't know about his other hand because it's out of shot, but when you look at his knuckles, at least two of his knuckles are severely grazed. It doesn't look too good, that, I'll be honest with you. You know, if that was caused by rolling in the dirt, ATV accident, if that was the case, that could get dirtied, that could get infected, could get sepsis, I don't know, it could get worse. Now, what about his lower knuckles, his knuckles down here, his hand, wrist? That seems to be intact. His elbow, of course, I mean, that looks reasonable. The chest area, I mean, looks normal. No grazing across the chest, no grazing on the nipple. Because this is the thing, if Noah was topless and shirtless for some time at the party, if he did sustain injury or if he did make contact with the ground, it would be more severe compared to if he was wearing like a jacket. You know, like when you get a motorcyclist and if they fell off the bike down the highway and scraped along, if they're wearing the correct gear, they're more likely to be safe. But if you get a person that's wearing casual clothing, they're probably screwed. And if they're going fast, even worse. As for Noah Presgrove, was Noah seen wearing a shirt, a t-shirt at the party? Throughout the footage, I don't see any of that. He's topless throughout. But did he take a shirt with him? When he came down on Saturday, was he wearing a top or not? When he came back down on a Sunday, driven down there by the group of guys, was he wearing a top or not? When he left the party, was he wearing a top or not? I'd say there's a chance that he wasn't wearing his shirt when he was leaving, and maybe that was left behind. Apologies about being zoomed in. It might be a bit weird for some people, but I'm just looking for any visible damage. Maybe even in some of the areas which was described on the autopsy, and to be honest, don't really see it. In terms of the autopsy, we were talking about what? Was it abrasions or was it scabs? Things healing from what may have occurred before. Would that apply to what we see on screen here, which was found later on Noah's body and which the autopsy reported on it, but may have not been linked to the time of when he was killed, possibly, maybe. But yeah, those knuckles do look pretty raw. It doesn't look too good, that. Scraped against what? Did Noah punch a wall? Did he punch some hardboard, some kind of wood? Now, I know in the past when I was testing and messing about, I was punching some flimsy bit of wood and it was all checkered and ingrained. So every time I kept punching it, I was just keep ripping skin off my knuckle. So that's how it looked for me. Maybe a bit worse than Noah. That's what my knuckle looked like after I punched some flimsy wood several times, and it didn't look too good. Then there was another time I was shadow boxing and I accidentally punched hard the corner of the wardrobe where it's pretty sharp, and it ripped the skin off. And it was on the same bloody knuckle not long after it started healing. That was not good. No. So yeah, friction, contact made with a bit of impact, a glancing blow off a bit of a sharp object, or a flat but rough object can cause grazing, can rip the skin off. Is that what happened with Noah? Because we saw that, I think it was Avery Combs possibly, was running like the other person was holding a block like a matador, Avery being the bull, not literally though, running into a piece of wood or cardboard or whatever and breaking it. Did there come a time at the party where Noah ended up punching something similar, punching a wall? Was that because he was messing, or was it because he was angry? I mean, remember it, because of being on alcohol, some people can get a little bit more aggressive. Some people could get a little bit more hyper. Considering that Noah was asking to be slapped by Brylan Sweat, was there ever a moment at the party where Noah was a bit frustrated and decided to punch a wall? Or if it wasn't serious and it was just messing about, did he punch like an item when messing? And that's what caused those injuries. Or are those injuries directly from the ATV accident incident? If it was, though, and that damage was sustained, he's wearing beige shorts. Now, underneath those beige shorts, I can see like a bit of a black line. I don't know if that's a shadow, a gap, maybe. Is it black lining inside of the shorts, or is it boxers? Because a person can wear shorts, can't they? But they can wear boxers, underpants underneath that. Just like how you wear trousers. But of course, in America, you say pants. So you say pants, what's beyond pants? Underwear? Is that what you call it? Who knows? But at least in the UK, you can wear trousers and then you can have underpants underneath them or boxers. Some people may not bother. Just like how some people may not wear a bra, but they'll wear a top that goes over it, and sometimes it might be obvious because things will be poking out, right? I mean, it's like with me. Obviously, I don't wear a bra, but because of the tops that I wear, just in general, sometimes when my nipples go hard, and it could be because of the weather change, my nipples will be pointing out of the shirt. You will see them. It's like 3D rendered, okay? So, it's all a matter of clothing. Is there an extra layer underneath? And in this case with the shorts, I don't know if there is an extra layer underneath. Considering the temperatures out there, you probably would be a little bit more underclothed. But as for pants, shorts, I'll say it will keep your legs cool. Are you wearing anything underneath those shorts? And as it was mentioned by that autopsy, okay, Noah was naked, but shorts found nearby folded up. No mention about underwear, boxers, underpants. So maybe they were non-existent to begin with. But do we see anything else in the background out of interest before we go any further? Well, in the background, that seems to be the kitchen area. I don't know if that's a coffee maker or some kind of mixer, kind of in purple or pink. Then on the left-hand side, you got a couch. Is that how Americans say it? A sofa, a couch, a chair, whatever. You got some, I don't know what the hell's that down there, white stuff and a board. What's that black thing in Noah's hand? I can't quite make that out. I don't know if that's behind Noah or can anyone see it? So where you see Noah's hand go down to his arm, just near to his wrist, it looks like in between his wrist and his armpit, there seems to be like a black looking object right there. What could that be? Does anyone know? It's not a can, not alcohol. A can is what you see here, right there. But that black object, does anyone know what it is? I personally don't know. It's hard to tell. But it does stand out, and it seems to be in between him. So he's like holding it. Now, did he take this photo? Nope, somebody else did. Now, to return back to the possibilities that this was caused possibly from the ATV accident incident, he's wearing beige shorts there. And if we was to say that the footage, what we see here, that slap with the discoloured, dirty looking pants or shorts, with the possible scrape mark, what we see there, are these all possible injuries and additional wear and tear to the body and clothing just after the ATV situation, then having a wash, changing into his beige shorts, whilst being pictured with some additional injuries as you see there on his fingers. The reason why that wouldn't make sense in that order is because when Noah Presgrove was found on the side of the highway, he was wearing black shorts, as Caden Pressey said, because he witnessed that. And likely, if Noah was leaving the party house and attacked along the way, he was wearing black shorts. The only time when those coloured shorts changed in the shorts themselves and the colour was after his death, when supposedly a police guy did it. So that's why it doesn't follow that order. And as well, to be honest, those fingers, those scabs, well, more, scrapes at the time, do we have any additional footage? It's really hard to tell, right? Because of the angling. Any marks there? Not really, it's hard to tell. When he had his black shorts on, from the looks of it, no markings, but still hard to tell because his hands are out of sight and at the wrong angle. So it's hard to tell at what point his fingers, his knuckles got grazed and scraped, whether it's all linked with what we see here. But unfortunately, we don't see his hands in the correct shot, so it's difficult to tell. But there were injuries sustained along the way at the party, at least, and you could argue that because that does look fresh. If it was like a scab, a day or two, maybe a bit longer has passed by for it to heal, but that's quite recent. Did he wash it? Don't know. Last but not least, what do we have here? Well, group of guys in the middle there. Noah Presgrove, his white hat once again, and his black shorts. By the side, that could be Brylan Sweat, possibly because of those blue jeans. Person on the left, don't know. Person on the left there could be Jasmine Milan because of that greyish top, possibly. And yeah, we will refer back to this photo and some additional angles at a future point. There was a person on my channel, was it called Jessica? I can't quite remember. And she said, look at the party footage, the rest of it, such as the kitchen scene. What do you see? What's present? And some additional things. I'll do that. Today, we're just focusing on Noah Presgrove, the shorts, and any injuries sustained along the way. So, yeah. Now, what I just wanted to do was quickly catch up with some of the previous comments from the video earlier today. And whilst, yes, there might be some descriptions you're not quite aware of or you may not know what it means, as I said, make sure to check my earlier video out afterwards for full context here. I just want to respond back to some questions possibly and maybe even some shout outs. I was actually going to do the video last night, but there's about 130 comments. That would take way too long at this moment considering what we've already done. And I didn't want to take too much focus away from that. So we'll just go for this kind of brief. Granted, not all comments will show up at the correct time because of me recording it right now. Afterwards, people could add more, but I'm not going to see them, am I? So, quick glance through. Teresa, I think. Do you think if Noah Presgrove did not show up to the party, would somebody else's body have been found along the highway dumped? So if Noah Presgrove didn't attend the party, would somebody else have been killed or died somehow? And maybe even found along the highway? It's a very important and key question. What I would say personally, in my opinion, well, if the killing is on a personal level, a personal matter, you got to ask yourself, besides Noah, how many of the other partygoers had beef, also known as had arguments, tension and trouble with one another? If the most problematic person there, or the person that rubbed up the wrong way with others, such as Noah Presgrove, then it seems more of a personal matter with Noah and whoever else, such as Jack Newton, Texas boys, anyone else, who knows? If you take Noah out of the equation, maybe there's less of a problem, or less of a misunderstanding, let's just put it like that. So if you take the problem out of the equation, and I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way towards Noah, but if people at the party, their eyes portray Noah as the problem, you take Noah out, then maybe everything's perfectly okay. There's no misunderstandings, there's no flirting, no trouble, no paranoia, no reason to act out. So yeah, on a personal level, if the killing was personal and Noah was taken out of the equation, then there's a chance that no one else would have been killed. But if Noah was to attend a similar party in the future, I think the inevitable could have still happened, the death. Maybe it was a ticking clock. For as long as you surround yourself in that area with those type of people, you're not safe. Possibly. That's my thoughts there. Good question. Not seen that one before exactly, or how it was worded. In addition, the person says, is that why there are threats going around telling people they are next? Well, say what? Don't wait, April. April! I'm going to answer it right now, ASAP. All under control, home girl. See, what Teresa is referring to here is possibly, roughly, indirectly re-quoting what Stevie Howard said on Facebook by saying to a stranger online, you're next. Like a threat, you're next in line, something bad will happen to you. And what Teresa is linking here is the threat by the likes of Stevie Howard indirectly with the video that I've done in terms of the findings. So if other people find similar stuff, they will receive threats as well. Now, in my opinion, I don't think there's a direct link there because, like, maybe I have looked deep. Maybe I've looked at things no one else has. Maybe I've looked at things, covered stuff which people who've received threats haven't done so. Of course, there will always be exceptions, like, of course, Caden Pressey, key individual, a witness as well, could be threatened, could be attacked, could be gaslighted, all kinds of things there, because there'll be people out there that will know him better, and those from the party goers, and even the friends or families of those party goers could be targeting him. Of course, not going to doubt that, but in terms of the general public receiving threats or warnings, just like how that other person did when they tried contacting and questioning Stephanie Millan, one of the maybe sisters to Jasmine Millan at the party at the time. Stephanie Millan answered some questions towards a stranger online. That stranger was then contacted by Colton Newton, the brother to Jack Newton, saying, hey, keep away. If you do it again, I'm going to find you. I'm coming after you. More threatening language. So it's not just directly from one person, but it seems like if you pry too close, you ask too many questions, you reach out to direct people within the case, others, friends of friends or families, may retaliate back and defend them and be verbally aggressive and threatening, right? So I think in my situation, in my video, what I've done, I don't think it links to what Teresa is referring to here, but I think Teresa is just referring to general points and situations what other people have gone through, the threats. Moving on. Good eye, a brick, cinder block, half of a cinder block to make it lighter, maybe. What else? I've seen a fight before where the guy grabbed a red brick from the porch area of a party house. The damage paralysed half the guy's face. The fight was broken up quickly, but not quick enough, wondering if investigators will come down hard on party host to get her to flip and to cooperate, to tell who did it, to save her from jail or prison, or possibly hard on Jack to avoid prison. I can't wait till they arrest all involved. So I think what Teresa is referring to here, saying, I seen a fight before where a guy grabbed the red brick and led to a person's face being half paralysed. That is not to do with the party footage. That is not to do with this case. It's, I guess, a personal experience elsewhere. And Teresa is putting it into perspective as to the damage, what it can do, the impact it can have, blunt forced injury. Fair enough. We got Pooch, interesting name. Cinder block is a lot heavier than a brick. Yeah. But then again, some cinder blocks, if they're brittle or not as chunky, they could be lighter than a traditional thick brick. I've got to make sure I say brick and not something else, slip of the tongue. I mean, it's like, maybe it's different in the UK. I've picked up some cinder blocks or smaller versions and they've appeared a lot lighter than the bricks. The bricks are more compact. They might have more holes than a cinder block, which may have only 2, but it's just thicker around the rim, around the edge. It just feels thicker in general, a brick, and maybe a bit longer with a cinder block. Some are heavy, of course, but others have been lighter. It might just depend on which cinder block. But yeah, brick or block, both can do damage. Pooch says, I remember an ex-boyfriend that had an ATV. He came over with tyre marks on his shirt. When I asked him what happened, he said the ATV rolled over him. Ooh. Now, this is no guarantee, but like what I said earlier on about Noah Presgrove's shoulder blade, his left one, could that have been contact made with a tyre if he fall out, ATV flipping over? Does this link what Pooch says? Possible. This is very interesting. Because if that was the case, it could have been a tyre mark or a bit of rubber from the tyre making contact with Noah's back somehow. Then it could mean that what we saw of Noah getting slapped by Brylan, that happened after the ATV incident, but he didn't have a wash immediately. Maybe. Victor. Yeah, blocks are heavy and would have to be grabbed with two hands. Of course, it depends how strong you are. Maybe it's kind of unfair for me to compare myself with others because of age difference and weight and height difference and muscle difference. Some people can pick a cinder block up very easily and others will have a harder time. It just depends. And if you think about the party goers, in all fairness, if most are drunk, will they have the same strength as if they were sober? Maybe not, unless adrenaline kicks in. They might have that sudden strength surge. But the age of them, mostly underage, are they strong enough? I mean, let's not play it down because whilst they may be younger, aren't some of them like athletes or wrestlers, American wrestlers, whatever you call them, or American footballers? Not professionals, but getting there along the way. Correct me if I'm wrong, some of them were, right? The build of them, the muscle. Maybe they do have the strength. Anyway, what else, Teresa? Yes, someone... Get off. Yes, someone could have been pounding the back of his head into. Sure, it would have broke his neck, especially if they stomped on him with bare foot. Remember movie $1 Million Baby, starring Clint Eastwood? No, I don't. Boxer fell backward on small stool or box in the corner of ring, paralysed her. You're right, the abrasions could have been from the cinder block. I bet that'd be a good question for coroner. Okay. April. Oops. I have a question. Why no charges for supplying alcohol to a minor? Missed yet again. Well, April, you better be here right now because I'll tell you something. I'm going to get really petty. And April, you don't want that. It's just not a good look. You got to be showing up on time. You got to be filling out your schedule, your daily routine with Raph. My goodness. We got Yvonne. I think I've said that correctly. That's the $1 million question. I want to know that too. So why haven't the people been charged at the party? Or even Avery Combs for supplying the alcohol to people? I mean, was it on record? Is there actual party footage of them clearly drinking alcohol? Because if so, that's incriminating evidence, right? What else do we have here? Faz... That's definitely some type of brick. If Noah definitely came back to the house, a fight could have happened near there. Could be possible that brick was used on Noah or Noah fell and hit his head on the brick. Fair enough. When he tried to get away or when he might have been tackled. Could a corner of a brick be the same width and length that could have caused the injuries on top of Noah's head? A blunt force trauma might cause bleeding out of the ears and cause fractures on the back of the neck as well. A hard fall could have done all that. They thought he was unalived. They panicked, took him to the side of the road, possibly to make it look like he was hit by a car or truck. I was thinking the marks found on Noah, that looks like tyre marks, could have happened when Noah rolled the AVT or ATV. Right, so this is a second person now mentioning it. Now, me personally, I gave my opinion similar, but by myself independently, without looking at anyone else's thoughts and even ignoring that post on Facebook. So, individually, we're coming to a bit of a consensus. Not guaranteed, but at least a consensus of the possibilities. And that puts it into perspective of how events could have followed through. I definitely have no doubt in my mind that one of his friends and others are very guilty of this and helped cover it up, someone they know in LE. Dean, or is it Dean, Deanne, Dina? If someone picked that cinder block up to hit anyone's head, then that would mean they wanted to kill him, and in this case, these kids could have broke the silence. Of course, it depends where exactly it happened. Just because that block or brick is there, did it remain there afterwards or was it moved? I mean, if Noah's walking away, someone sees that brick or block, picks it up, they might not use it immediately. They might use it a bit later once they've moved away. And with people partying inside, like what we saw with that recent footage, with all those blinds and curtains being down, you wouldn't be able to see throughout the window. And if people are noisy inside and you've got music playing possibly, you might not hear any of the commotion outside. So you could be completely blind to it. Victor, cinder blocks are much bigger. Could it be a regular red or grey brick? Yeah, possibly. Maybe a grey one. I mean, do the colours of bricks represent what they're used for or the weight of them? I don't know, but it's what it is. Interesting. Sad face. Ooh. Victor, to hit someone with a cinder block with one arm is very difficult, and Noah was 6'2". Oh, I see. So Noah was the same height as me, Warlike Raph. You would have to be taller, and hitting him with a downward motion, maybe a smaller brick in one hand to the back of the head is possible. Yeah, it doesn't have to be right on the top of the head. It doesn't have to be on the top of the forehead or the scalp area. It could be just like near the neck area, just behind the head, yeah. If had two hands with his hands over its arm to back of Noah's head would be the only way. I mean, the other way of possibly highlighting it, if it wasn't used immediately, the brick or the block, and he was taken down in some other way, tackled or another item used, someone then could have picked up the brick and finished the job by slamming it down or throwing it down on his head, right? I mean, you think of those movies, those gory movies, or even in maybe certain video games, a person's knocked to the ground, someone gets a giant slab, paving stone, or somewhat of a heavy rock, standing right over the person and then just drops it or throws it down. That's pretty messed up and overkill, right? I mean, could that have happened with a brick? Oh, stay down, Noah, grabs a brick, whack, throws it. Because you think of throwing a brick down, the gravity as well, it's already weighted, and that's making contact with Noah, speeds up as well. The impact could be more damaging. And wow, cat. Heartbreaking, he seems so gentle, yet suffered unimaginable horror. Looks like a massive cover-up to me. This was found north of Gas Peak. Right, so Dr. Spock, shout out to Dr. Spock, Kenny Veach, long-time viewer. I'll take a look at that. All in all, hopefully you found this video somewhat interesting and may have seen things from a perspective which has never been mentioned before. And whilst the marking on the back of the shoulder blade has been brought by a couple of people here and there, as for the discoloration and dirty shorts, I've not really heard that before. So you piece it all together, you compare, you contrast, maybe you can form an order of how events played out. It would have been really good if there was a small little timestamp or a small little caption giving the exact date, time, and etc. for each individual clip, but that wasn't the case. You can always clear it up down below in the comment section, and if you do have any questions, let me know down below and I'll try and respond back to them. I symbol top right, click that if you want to now catch up on my other videos and my earlier one to do with the brick caught on camera. You want to see it for yourself, I have documented it on my channel now. And I'll continue to do that with more footage, the party footage, the still unfinished business there. I can take a look at it. See, this is the area which I tend to do and what I've done in the past. So I do have a bit of experience here. And as I said, recently it's got to that point, that time, that moment to do this type of thing. So that's all good. As for sharing, feel free to like and share this video wherever, and we'll see what other people think of the situation. Might bring in the right people with even more information or a better perspective to fill in some of the grey areas. But all in all, I think that will do for now. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to be notified and have all the notifications turned on for the future so you can catch up on it and be here during these live premieres. I'll see you next time. For now, goodbye, good night.